from the heart. Stories honest and true. The one, the only. The Human Canvas You. Hello and welcome to The Human Canvas, the podcast where we explore our unique lived experiences, exploring the lives of people from all walks, diving into their unique journeys, their challenges, their passions, and the moments that have shaped who they are today. I'm your host, Nicholas Graham Hall, and today I'm honored to welcome to the podcast food judge Ryan Stringer. I know Ryan from some men's gatherings. That's really kind of how we've gotten to know each other here. We know each other here locally in Bloomington, Indiana. But through one of the gatherings, Ryan, you started to share about this hobby that I think it's still officially a hobby. Is that right?
It is. Yeah. I'm not getting paid monetarily.
Okay. And tell everyone what this hobby is. Because I was asking you, so what's the official title? And I was thinking, food tester, taste? What? No.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a competition food judge. Locally, mainly in like the central to southern Indiana, there'll be food competitions that go on throughout the year. And I am interested in being a judge. And so I contact the hosts of these events and tell them of my experiences and credentials. And that I'm offering to be there. And it's great because so many of them say, yes, we want you.
And how, okay, so the obvious question, how in the world did you get started? How did this passion and hobby begin?
Sure. I had a childhood friend who about 10 years ago had a child that accrued a lot of medical bills. And at the time, I worked at a local grocery store, and we allowed individuals and organizations to come during the weekends and put on fundraisers. They would grill hamburgers and hot dogs and things like that. And so this friend of mine, we reconnected because he started putting on these fundraisers. And first it started with burgers and dogs, and then he decided to expand and make some of his own, started bringing pulled pork, started cooking some ribs. And this turned into people asking him to cater events and parties and different things like that. And so he went for it and started a food truck. And he started, it's called the Great White Smoke here in Bloomington, Indiana. His name is David White. And this food truck gained notoriety and publicity and doing the catering. And so he decided to try his hand at barbecue competitions.
Okay.
Yeah. And then started becoming successful with those to where he started hosting barbecue competition events himself locally. And he reached out to me and said, Ryan, I've seen you on social media. You love to cook. I respect your palate. I invite you to come and judge this. I think it could be right up your alley. I said, yeah.
This was yet many years in the making then.
Yeah.
And a personal connection, right?
Right. Exactly right. Yeah. So he reached out to me in 2023.
Okay.
And that was the first time that I judged. It was down in southern Indiana at a place called Boggs Lake. And I think there were 12 different competitors. It was my first time. I was a rookie at it, but I was eager to learn. So they went through the expectations for the judges and what we were looking for, taste-wise, texture-wise, appearance, all those kind of things. And I just enjoyed it so much. And it felt like such an honor to be able to, because these competitors, they put a lot of money into this. It's not just a hobby for some of them. Some of
Right.
them, this is their livelihood, right? They've got thousands and thousands of dollars into the gear and the smokers and the trailers and all the time they're putting into it, plus the amount that they have to spend on the actual products that they're cooking. So I take it very seriously and thoroughly enjoyed it. And then as
Obviously, because you're still doing it.
yeah.
We're going to talk about that. I am curious, before you went to your first competition, did you do any research? Did you, do the old, hey, I'm going to go judge a barbecue? What did you have any sort of clue, or did you have a sense that they were going to provide you with some information and you're going to be in good hands?
Right, exactly. And yes, to that last part that you said. So when Dave reached out and asked me if I was interested in doing this judging, I said, "What do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to know?" And he said, "We are going to provide a training at the beginning of it, and we'll tell you what we're looking for out of a judge." So I trusted Dave, and I trusted the process, and
Now, how many judges were there? Do you remember roughly?
for that competition, there were 6 of us.
6 judges, and there were, you said, 12.
12 competitors,
12
and it was a 4-meat competition. So it started with ribs, and then chicken, and then pork, and then beef. And so I basically took 48 bites
I was going to say,
of food.
Do the math.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm going to have a whole bunch of questions here. Where to begin? Did every participant have one entrant for each of the 4?
Yes.
Given that they were there.
Every competitor provided one box that they presented to the judges. So
and are there any sort of, okay, so we'll say chicken, right? What are there any, how do they create parameters? Are there any parameters in terms of, it's barbecue, but
right.
how broad might that be?
Sure, that's a great question. And it really depends on the competition. So there are some competitions that are in a ongoing tournament throughout the year, and those are regional, and they're looking for a regional type of flavor. So for Southern Indiana, Northern Kentucky, it's called the Kentuckiana Barbecue Pitmasters. And they are looking for a sweet and spicy combination. So you want a nice balance between the two. There's typically a fair amount of honey within the barbecue sauce and the seasoning, but with a little bit of heat as well. Yeah. And then when it comes to that,
yeah, go ahead.
When it comes to the actual like cuts of meat, so say it was chicken, it's up to them. I would say typically it is chicken thighs. Sometimes I'll get a leg, very rarely a wing, and it's kind of unfortunate when you get a chicken breast. It just is not going to hold up as well. They're typically drier, things like that, especially on a smoker or a grill. So chicken thighs and legs are typically what are provided.
Now, I know that you've done competitions beyond barbecue, but we'll keep going. I still have a few more questions because it's like, okay, so when they're there, are they expected? I guess this question could apply to other food items as well. Are they typically gonna bring the food with them and it's prepared and they are somehow, maintaining the food so that it's the right temperature and etc. for the
Yeah.
competition, or are they actually, is it a whole weekend thing? So they're kind of setting up to not only, yeah, the competition is part of it, but there's money involved and all this other stuff. So we want to sell some product as well.
Gotcha. Typically, um, uh, what I have seen is that competitors are allowed to bring their own meat, but it must be uncooked. And so everything is done on site. And if they're
Wow.
smoking things, which is what is usually happening, they're starting the night before the
Yeah.
competition. 10 p.m., midnight that's when they start, and they do it all night long and keep the temperatures going and do their magic. And then as a judge, usually at 10 o'clock or noon or something like that, we start the judging of the competition.
And so some of it, part of it is like, yeah, it's their recipe, but it also how well they deliver that particular day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like
Like
any
with
like
anything.
like any sport, some
Mhm.
days you're like, some days everything's in sync, and other days you're just like, oh, I can't catch a break here. Nothing's
That's right.
working, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so that first competition, um, I'm sure you remember like it was yesterday. Was that part of an ongoing, um, was you were mentioning like an ongoing series, or was that a one time for those 12?
Yeah, so that was part of an ongoing tournament. So, uh, which to me really kind of instilled that importance that um, I need to judge this fairly. I need to judge this accurately, because they're getting points from this competition, whether they win or not. Their points
Right.
are going to carry over to the next and to the next and to the next. And so if I were to give somebody a really low score, it could mess them up for
Yeah.
the whole season.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so, yeah.
So tell me about the scoring. How many, is it pretty typical that there's 10, 12, 4? Like how many different items
Yeah.
are you judging, and what's the point range?
Sure. Typically, there's four items. It's the four meat that I mentioned earlier: rib,
Right.
chicken, pork, and beef. Um,
And then how
uh,
many, I guess, within the four,
yeah.
is it texture and flavor, and like how many
Sure.
different
Yeah.
areas?
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So typically, there are three categories we're looking at. These are specific to barbecue competitions. Number one is taste, um, texture, and then appearance. And
Okay.
those are weighted. Taste score is more. The taste
Yeah.
is the most important thing. Appearance is the least, but still important. And in those scales, we go from 9 to 6, which is interesting. It's really a 9 to 1, but this is competition. No, people aren't going to be turning in things that are less than a 6 ever, unless it's raw or they dropped it on the floor,
Gotcha. Okay.
right? Or there was a piece of tinfoil in there and it's disqualified, right? But I don't think.
Kind of like, I guess it's like hotels. If you're a 1, you probably should shut down and not be rented. So at least be a 2.
That's
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. And so how I've been trained
Hmm.
is that when the table receives a box, right? Say it's a thing of
Yeah.
ribs. In my mind, I'm going to start that it's a 9. This is the best rib that this competitor can do.
Okay.
And then I go down from there. So I'm looking at appearance. So I'm looking for consistency. I'm looking for, is the sauce even or is it pooling? Does it look dry? Does it look moist, right? Does it look appetizing? Is it all jumbled in the box or is it in neat rows? All those different things. And if I see something that's off, then a point gets deducted. If I don't and it looks great, it gets a 9.
Was it early on? I'm curious sort of how, um, given your experience from the first time you did it to now, um, like you see that first box and you just don't have anything, you don't have anything to compare it to. But is that actually good? Is the idea that you want to kind of let go of everything else that you've seen or tasted and try as best you can to judge it on its own? And
Yeah.
is that pretty, and if that's the case, is that hard to do?
Right, right. I remember the training from that first event that I host or that I judged. And when Dave was describing what the different dishes should look like, what we're looking for, I understood. It made sense to me when he described it. So when that first box of ribs came out, I had a good idea of what I was looking for going into it. Now, that second part of your question, treating them as individuals and not judging them against the others, that is absolutely what we're supposed to do. Right? I'm not supposed to think because everyone would be judged off of that first bite I took.
Right.
And that's not fair to anybody. So clearing my mind, clearing my palate, not remembering that bite I just took that was the best bite I've ever had, and go to this next one. Right. Yeah. I find it easy to do.
Huh.
Yeah. To just kind of shut down what I just had. Take a swig of water, you maybe eat a little saltine cracker to clear my palate, and we're on to the next one.
Is that the trick? Water and saltine?
Yep, that's the trick. Yeah, they actually don't want us to have any flavored drinks or anything out there that could change our palates.
And about like how much do you have one taste? Are you allowed like one taste? Do you sometimes need more than one taste, or is it just like they want you to?
Yeah. Typically, it's just one bite, and there's specific places to bite from to kind of get the best like medium bite that you can get. Like on a rib, I don't want to bite from the end or from a part that's thin. I want to bite from the meatiest part, but right in the center. Typically, it's one bite, but if I feel like I didn't quite get the taste or I wasn't sure on the texture, I'll go in for a second if I need to. Yeah.
Now, do you get the leftovers?
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's the payment, right? That's the payment right there.
I was thinking,
Every competition I leave from, I come away with 3, sometimes 4 styrofoam boxes full of this competition grade cooked meat, and it's wonderful with bites taken out of every single one.
Just a little, they can't resell that, so
exactly right. Yeah, and the competitors and the event hosts, they know that people put in their time and their efforts and their money and into these. They don't want us to waste them either. So yeah.
So I'm curious do you recall the first competition, sort of your judging versus the winners, and sort of
right
what your, kind of, because you've got 5 other judges, right? You say there were 6 judges.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder to what extent was there just clear agreement?
Yeah.
Or was it pretty broad?
Yeah. So during the judging itself, when we're actually having the pieces in front of us, we don't talk to each other. We don't moan. We don't lick our fingers. Nothing to indicate if we liked it or disliked it. Right. We don't want to affect each other's scoring. I've found it very difficult after that round is over to go back and, do you remember that one rib, right? Because we just had 10 or 12 ribs in a row, right? It's hard to kind of determine which one we had. And all of the turn-ins, when they're delivered, it's a blind judging. So we have no idea who the competitors are. We just have a number, right? Maybe this was box number 12. I really like box number 12. But even after it's all over, I don't know who competitor
Yeah.
was number 12. And
Ah,
so,
so ultimately, you don't actually know if the one that you know that if number 11 was that was my
yeah,
best.
which is kind of nice, I think, because um, doing multiple competitions in a region, I'm coming across a lot of the same competitors.
Right.
And if I know, oh, they always do this one, right,
Yeah.
that might impact my judging. Yeah, it could. I can see that. But I don't. I have no idea. I can think, if I hear the winner, I was like, oh, I bet they had that one, but I really don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Is the variability in like the category of, barbecue and chicken, and the region of Southern Indiana, is the approach quite varied,
Um,
or is it,
that's a really good question. It's not. What I've found in the regional competitions is that people are trying to hit this one flavor profile. And really, the idea is not to go outside of the box, not to put in, cinnamon, or I added, this interesting flavor profile, because you might offend someone's palate, right? You want to, really, their idea is to create something within that flavor profile that is good to everyone. It's not the best thing that they've made. It's maybe not the style that they would do when they home cook or something like that,
Yeah.
but they want to do something that is just pleasing to everyone. So there, on a lot of the competitions, there's not a big variation in the flavor profiles coming through. Now, that's not always the case, especially when we have new competitors that are still testing out their recipes. They're still trying to hit a certain thing. And so sometimes we can get some variations in there that, for better or worse. Yeah.
I imagine by the time I was going to ask if, you have ever had anything that is less than a 6, but I'm guessing by the time if they're willing to get to that place and really enter, and
Yeah, yeah.
they're-
I haven't had anything less than a
yeah,
6.
yeah,
On an individual score for like one of the categories, I've certainly gone to a 7, which means there were 2 things wrong in, say, flavor, right? Or 2 things wrong in texture, dry and tough, something like that, right?
is that kind of is that so you start at a 9, and then particular some things, like you said, dryness or tough knocks off points.
Yeah, that would knock off one, dry. If it was too dry, that's 1 point off of tenderness, right? If
Yeah.
it's too salty, that's 1 point off of flavor. Yep.
Interesting. So do you have to kind of set aside probably maybe what you personally prefer,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Put my own
right?
preferences down.
Because
And
I like stuff that's a little spicier and hotter, I think, than
yeah.
most people.
Yeah.
And so while that may be what I would choose, that may not be what's appropriate for the competition, right?
That's absolutely right. Right. We want to judge each thing by what the competitor is going for, right? Not what I want it to be, but what they want it to be, right?
Right.
Um,
Have you expanded from barbecue?
have I expanded from barbecue? I have. Yeah.
Huh.
A few times, and it's been
Tell me about
very
that.
joyful. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. Yeah.
yeah.
And the thing is, with it's not like I'm a barbecue connoisseur.
That's where the that was where the first invitation was, right?
It's exactly, and that's where the opportunities are. There's way more barbecue competitions around than there are other food competitions.
I've gone to I've encountered quite a few chili.
Yeah.
And maybe that's also easier,
Hmm.
perhaps. Um, what other yeah, what other competitions have you been involved in. And then also I'm curious just how expansive is the, you know, even beyond what you've participated in, and are there
Sure.
others also that you're kind of interested in?
Yeah, yeah. Earlier this year, I think it was in May, I was invited to judge at a kickoff. It was a barbecue competition, but it was different. It was different than the regional ones I'd been to, where everyone was doing these flavor profiles and trying to hit this certain mark. It was located at Famous Dave's, which is a restaurant. It's a national restaurant, and they have a location in Indianapolis. And Famous Dave himself was there, and there was a panel of 5 judges, and this was platter style. So they would come out and they could make it as beautiful and as fancy and have flowers and really like
Yeah.
presentation was a big part of it. And there was no flavor profile they had to hit.
Huh.
And there was also different categories. Like there was a dessert category, which was really nice. And someone made a smoked cheesecake with like smoked pralines on it, and it was amazing. Um, and that we did some training with that. That was hosted by Famous Dave, but it was sponsored by a larger organization called the World Food Championship.
Okay.
And the World Food Championship, so doing that tournament earned me a certification in the EAT methodology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a certification.
Right, and which I have 2 of at this point,
Oh,
which is a lot of fun.
does that mean that you have new acronyms behind your name? Do you add these to your? I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but
That's right. I am a food judge. And so that allowed me to participate in this enormous food competition in Indianapolis this year called the World Food Championships. And it is the nation's largest food competition. I've heard it's also the world's largest food competition. I believe there were around 400 competitors, and they had 10 different categories. With several days of judging, I judged for 2 different days. I had 5 different categories I judged, and I was also a table captain for 2 categories. So I didn't get to taste the food, but I got to see it and watch other people eat it.
oh, interesting.
Not as fun. Not as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this at like the convention center? Is it that
It
big?
was. Yeah, it was enormous.
And is that does it always take place in Indianapolis or does it move around?
It has moved around. This was the second year it was in Indianapolis. Before this, it was in Dallas for a number of years. Before that, I believe Miami, Florida. Yeah, so a big deal coming to Indianapolis. It brought in a lot of people and a lot of competitors and a lot of local competitors. There were qualifying events throughout the entire year to be able to earn a spot to compete. They certainly had barbecue categories.
What are the other categories that?
So I was able to judge 2 really fun categories. One was the Chef's Challenge, and so these were executive chefs from different restaurants they had no parameters. They could put whatever they wanted to out there. That was a wonderful category to judge. I also judged a dessert category. Same thing. Just had to be a dessert. It could be whatever they wanted it to be. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Other categories, they had a seafood category. They had a burger and a pasta. They had a vegetarian category, sandwich. All of them looked fantastic and delightful. And I was sad I didn't get to judge every single category.
So I'm trying to imagine, like, you've got barbecue, that's a specific meat, and you're talking about a region with a specific flavor profile, and then you've got seafood. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it just is, that's so broad, right? And there's not there isn't any particular region or
Yeah.
flavor profile. Um, are the are the were the judges that actually did the tasting,
Mhm.
um, given that it's the world, championship, were most of the people that were doing the tasting, do they have a fair bit of experience?
Yeah. A lot of the folks that I spoke with um, had been judging the World Food Championships for multiple years,
Yeah.
and they were traveling from all over the United States.
Yeah.
People that had judged down in Texas were spending the weekend in Indianapolis just so they could be there to judge.
How do these people, so how does this chef, like I'm trying to think like logistics.
Mhm.
Someone's traveling from, I mean, are they like packing their spices on in their luggage and
Yeah, yeah, right. They wouldn't necessarily bring all their ingredients, but their spices, their cooking utensils, those kind of things. And then in the convention center, in the building that we were
yeah.
in, they had all of these kitchen stations, right? These cooking stations where the competitors they have everything that they can use. They've got a pantry that they have access to, and all of that.
Where
So
where does the convention center, I mean, this may be, it's getting off of the food, the food testing, the competition. I'm just like, I just cannot imagine the logistics of this. It's got to be just
yeah, yeah,
something. I mean,
yeah,
you're preparing food. So you got
yeah.
these stations where,
Yeah.
wow.
I believe in one of the parking spaces in the fairground area. Oh, sorry, we were talking about convention. It was actually in the state fairgrounds.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is just a gigantic area, and it's in one of the newish buildings.
Yeah.
But I believe that there were six full size semi truck trailers that were there. They were just World Food Championship gear. It's those kitchens, like you said, it's stages, it's tables, it's just lighting, everything that they have, and they've got it all on these trucks, and just, I mean, hundreds of employees, volunteers. Yeah, it was a humongous undertaking. I wasn't there for the setup for it,
Yeah.
just the judging part. But even that, judges, there were 90 of just the preliminary judges. We were just there for Thursday and Friday doing the first rounds for these, and there were 90 of us.
Wow.
So
And so there's additional judges for the later.
yeah, so round two and round three. So round two was, I think, all the categories shrunk down to 10 competitors. And then the final round, which was on Sunday, it was the top 5 competitors in each of the categories. And those were all judged by like executive chefs, and they had some celebrity judges and things like that.
Now, if they made it through to additional rounds, were they preparing actually new dishes?
Yeah, new dishes, and usually new twists to it. So it wouldn't just be, all right, you're doing barbecue again,
Yeah,
or you're
yeah.
doing a sandwich again. Now, maybe they're, here's a specific ingredient you need to use, or, we're going to narrow it for you and kind of have you
Right.
focus in. Yeah. Yeah. I know,
Interesting. I mean,
I know for
yeah.
barbecue, on the last day, which my friend Dave White, who got me into this, he was a competitor, and he made it to the last round
Really?
in one of the barbecue categories, and in that final day, cauliflower was the special ingredient. So they needed to do barbecue. He was in the beef category, and he needed to do barbecue and also somehow incorporate cauliflower.
Huh.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know how your friend Dave incorporated cauliflower?
He made a cauliflower cheesecake, turned it into a dessert,
Oh,
and apparently it did very well. And he paired it with maybe it was brisket or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he came in third overall in the entire competition for that category. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
I mean,
great.
it's a what an inspiring. It's an amazing. It's such an inspiring story that out of um, that need, right?
Yeah.
Out of
Yeah.
something that they certainly didn't wish or plan. Uh,
Yeah. And
and
his whole family is involved. His sister has been part of the business. His mother is part of the business. His father was until he passed away. And he's got personal friends that go with him and have been traveling with him for years. It's very heartwarming.
yeah,
And what a great way to bring so many people together, around food. It's something that we all need. We all
yes,
have to have.
yeah,
Um, and I just see a lot of camaraderie with folks, even with especially with the competitors, with each other. It's not they're not browbeating each other from across the
right.
parking lot in their as they're smoking meats. They're shaking each other's hand and congratulating each other, and they become friends, and judges become friends, and it's great. It's so wonderful. Yeah.
So I've not been to a competition like this before. How do they how do they incorporate visitors? I assume I assume that do they want visitors somehow to come
Yeah,
in and
yeah.
be a
A,
part of it? Like
a
is
lot
there
of these times, a lot of the competitions are part of a bigger event
okay.
that is going on. And so the barbecue competition will just kind of be a section of it. You had asked earlier, and I didn't answer about are these competitors also selling to the public? Most of the time, they're not. Most of the time, they're just there for that, right? They're focusing on that part. But that's not to say that none of them do. Certainly, I've seen some of them also make some things on the side and sell it to the public. But
You might have
most of
a rub or a sauce or a something.
yeah, or they're making meat for folks to take, and that happens sometimes. But typically, when they're there for the competition, they are focused in on the competition.
So
Um,
like at this competition and that you're referencing in Indianapolis, was the entire event the food competition, or was there something else actually going on and the food competition was
Gotcha. Yeah. For this event, for the World Food Championships, that's what it was. It was a food competition. They had they had invited vendors to come and set up booths, and they would be giving out samples and things like that. And they had like a teaching kitchen happening and things, but it was all centered around the food competition. Um, Most of the barbecue competitions I've been to, there's some sort of fundraiser that's happening for it.
okay.
And maybe it's part of the competitor's entry fee is going towards that fundraiser, or it's bringing awareness. Usually it's, I did one just a few weekends ago in Bloomington, and it was a fundraiser for Riley's Children's Health. And there was a barbecue competition at the same time, right?
It sounds like barbecue is the sounds like that is the most common food competition.
Yeah, yeah. And at this point, I have, not including the World Food Championships, I have judged 15 barbecue competitions since 23.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah.
Now, are you routinely like looking for competitions and
Yeah. Yeah,
proactively
absolutely.
putting
Yeah.
your hat in the ring, as
Yes,
they
exactly
say?
right. Yeah, I look for them because Bloomington will host maybe 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more, an hour away, or if I'm willing to drive 2 hours away, it gets even more. And so there are some groups on social media that I can look through and find the competitions, and they'll post about them a few months out as they're starting to draw competitors in. And that's when I, if it seems like something I'm available for and I want to do, I'll contact the host and introduce myself. And
sure. What are the certifications that you have obtained?
Yeah, so
how did you obtain them?
Sure. Locally, there was a training in early 24 for the Kentuckiana Barbecue Pitmasters Association, and so they had a judge training, and I went to that, and that was a beautiful thing. It was about half of a day. They had 3 different competitors making food for us, and one of them was throwing in some curveballs. And so we were judging and having the teachers come around, the instructors come around and kind of guide us through what we're tasting, or it was really interesting. It broadened my idea and knowledge of what I was there for. So yeah, it's really good.
Was there another certification?
The other one was the EAT methodology, and that is for the specifically for the World Food Championships. They're very similar. Very similar in the judging.
Are there, out of curiosity, is there other types of training that, if you wanted to continue to pursue elevate to be able to be a top judge?
Right. So a very popular one is called the KCBS, which is the Kansas City Barbecue Society. And that one's huge. KCBS is the giant in the Midwest for the barbecue. There's a chili certification that you can get. I believe it's called like the International Chili Association or something like that. So being able to find those trainings and get involved, that sounds great to me. I would love to do that and just keep expanding and being able to have that honor of trying other people's foods.
So if next time I stop in Kansas City, am I making a mistake if I don't get some barbecue?
I've never been over there before, but they do it really sweet.
That's what I understand.
You're not going to find a lot of spice over there, so it may not be your thing.
Well, I do have a little bit of a sweet tooth as well. So, how has it, out of curiosity, has getting involved in the competitions, has it impacted your cooking at all? Or your food preparation, or your interest,
Gotcha.
or when you go out to eat, or just sort of general.
For my own personal cooking, it hasn't changed much. I don't do a lot of grilling. I don't have a smoker, those kind of things. So I'll make a rack of like pork ribs every once in a while in the oven, and I think they turn out great. I'm not trying to reach some competition level, but it's the flavor profile that I want. It does impact if I'm going to a restaurant. Typically, I'm not going to order the things that I get from the competitions at a restaurant. I've found that I'm often disappointed.
Yeah, you put on your judge hat and you're like, "Oh man,
yeah,
no bueno."
Not what I'm looking for,
right?
Yeah,
it totally makes sense.
Yeah,
they're going to competitions and they're bringing their A game,
right?
So you get used to enjoying A games.
Exactly right. Yeah.
They're trying to serve a lot of people day in and day out. So
a lot of these competitors also have food trucks that they do on a regular basis, and what I would order from there is also different than what I'm going to get from them in a competition.
Right.
In the competition, they're spending, maybe several $100s on a brisket. That's not what they're going to feed to the public when they're doing it from a food truck, right?
Yeah, I was wondering how much I mean, you've got the flavor that is determined by the ingredients they add, but there's the actual meat itself.
Mm.
And like I would think would have an incredible, I would think that would have a huge impact.
It
Does it?
absolutely does. The quality of meat. Oh my gosh, I've been to some competitions where there were a lot of new competitors there, and their flavors weren't bad, but I could tell that they didn't seek out the highest quality that they could for their food and for their ingredients. And when you get these competitors that have been at it for a decade and they know exactly, they've got their recipes down, they're buying top quality things. Or I was talking to a competitor who they have a specific chicken farmer
Yeah,
they arrange the specific type of feed that they want to have for these chickens, and what time of year and even like what time of day that they get butchered and all that kind of stuff. So some of these competitors have it down to a science, and they don't want to just grab something from the grocery store and use that for a competition. It does make a lot of difference.
Yeah. Has for if anyone's listening to this in 2037, this is 2025. And and right now, relative to where things have been a couple of years ago, people are seeing prices going up substantially, right? I mean, prices they tend to go up over time, just in general, but it's been sort of significant recently, and I do understand that like the price of beef and some certain things have really gone up dramatically. Has that had an impact that you've seen on?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, in 2024, in the regional tournament, they stopped doing brisket. They just didn't. None of the competitors did it. The price was too much,
Too much.
For them. So
There you go.
yeah, it was just left out.
Not a ridiculous question. I was wondering if it was ridiculous, but no. But it's if we all agree, it's just the cost of it. Oh, that's cool. So do you have what do you have coming up? Do you have any competitions on the calendar? Is it kind of, I mean, I would think the spring and summer, I would think that would be a lot busier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Be more of an outdoor thing, but
typically the earliest the competitions start in May and go through the summer into the fall. So I just judged one 2 weeks ago, and so that was the end of October. But I did see one recently on that social media group that I follow that's happening in January, and I'm definitely going to put my name in the hat to help judge that. But typically the warmer months, because people are outside, and like I said, those the people who are smoking and things, they're doing it all night long. 10, 12 hours.
And then you have other foods that aren't necessarily you don't think about as a summer type of are there any holiday? Have you seen any like holiday, like
holiday like food
desserts?
Competitions?
Just like all the holiday desserts. I could
like pies or something like that.
Pies or Christmas cookies or whatever.
That would be beautiful. If you hear something, please let me know, because I want to tap into other types of food judging for sure.
Besides the opportunity to come home with a lot of delicious food to be able to enjoy at a later date, like what have been some of the what's been the surprises, if any, of the enjoyment, right? Like what, there been any, I mean, certainly you knew you were going to enjoy some good food.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, that's the first and foremost. That's the most that's the reason that I go is
Yeah.
for those food. But I've made a lot of connections as well, and even reintroduced to people that I may have known as a kid, because this is regional and I grew up here, and so I was reintroduced to somebody I went to elementary school with, and I haven't seen him in 30 some years, just a month ago, and that was great. That was great.
Yeah.
But some of these competitions bring competitors and they bring judges in from all across the United States, sometimes across the world. And it's just a beautiful thing to come together, and we're all just agreeing that isn't food great?
I love it when I just see anybody that has a particular passion about anything. I mean, they're just willing to double click or triple click or go a little bit deeper down whatever that is to because I mean it's more than just having a bite. It's like, you're really there's so much more that you're considering as being a judge. And then having, as I shared earlier, having gone to a few chili competitions in particular, and like talking to some of the competitors while they're, trying to get everything to come together, and they're nervous and they want to do well because it's a recipe that they're really proud of.
Yeah.
Right. Um, no, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Ryan, is there anything that we've covered a lot of ground on
Sure.
with the food competition, but I'm curious, if there's some things that we haven't covered yet that we might want.
Yeah, I did think of one more thing that I've really enjoyed about it is that sometimes with these competitions, the host will reach out and say, "Hey, we've got another spot. Can you bring another judge with you?" And that's been really special for me. I was able to take my father to a competition, and he's never experienced anything like that before, and so I think it was really a unique experience for him. And I've gotten to take some of my close friends who I know appreciate food. One of them used to be a professional chef. And so being able to see these other people around me that I'm close to try out this thing, right? This hobby of mine that I enjoy so much. And then, actually like, oh, I get it now, it's fun to watch people get hooked.
Awesome. Nice. Well, Ryan, oh man, I might put me on your list, It sounds like,
Absolutely.
I do love food, and I can imagine the pleasure, and also like, really respecting the effort that's been made by all the people that are there, um, and that they're trying to do their absolute best, and also, it's food, it's good food, it's which is important, and it's real food, and we all need that. So it's really cool. So this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you taking the time and it helping me better understand food competition. So I am sure I am going to take note when I see future food competitions, and I may go up to you and your peers and kind of see what you're doing. I'll definitely pay more attention going
you're
forward.
on my list of people to invite now. So
so this has been really great. So again,
and I don't know about you, but I'm hungry now.
it is, it is getting to be, it is about dinner time, isn't it? So I know. I'm thinking, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Yeah. So, Ryan, thanks again. I really appreciated it.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate this time. Yeah, this has been great.
Stories from the heart, stories honest and true, the one, the only, the human canvas.